Smartphones. Pretty much everyone has one, and yeah, they're useful, but... Smartphones. Pretty much everyone has one, for fuck's sake. Smartphones. Pretty much everyone... just roll the title screen. 4 years ago, I hated that I could barely get 2 days out of my phone without charging it. Now, I'd be lucky if I got 12 cunting hours out of it. Even when I'm barely using the cunt, that battery drains like a bastard. How is it that technology has come so far that a GPS, a camera, a phone, and the entire internet fit in one device that fits in the palm of your hand, but they can't seem to invent a battery that can hold a charge long enough for you to finish a wank?
Ring, 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 banana phone.
So what does it they do to help with you needing to charge your phone more frequently? Why, make the charger cable shorter, of course. Because God forbid you may need to use the phone while you're fucking charging it. I swear these bastards have precise measurements between my plug socket and my bed, and intentionally made the cable 2 inches shorter. So I'm left with either not using my phone while it's charging, or using it in a real fucked up position in an attempt to hold it upright, and fight the screen from auto-rotating against my will, which almost always ends with me briefly forgetting that I'm charging the phone, causing me to bend the charger port as I accidentally fling the fucker across the room. Just one more thing on chargers. Is everybody's phone as fussy as mine when it comes to what chargers will and won't work on it? I genuinely have a car charger that works on everybody's phone but mine, which is quite annoying seeing as I bought it for my fucking phone.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding.
Why does a decent phone need to cost the equivalent of 3 weeks' wages? Like, I get it, there's a lot of technology that goes into them or whatever, but look at the price of the latest iPhone. For that money you could build a pretty respectable gaming PC that'll do a hell of a lot more and it'll last a lot longer than a fucking iPhone. Because after you spend your money on that iPhone, about a year or two later they'll release a new model. And what does that new model have, might you ask?
It's the best, beats the rest.
Well, for your extra €200 or €300 or dollars or whatever, you get a slightly thinner, slightly faster phone with a slightly better camera, and maybe a fingerprint scanner that you'll use for a week and then turn off after you realise it doesn't really work properly. Is it worth it? Well, let's break it down. Do you need a thinner phone? No, because you're going to put a cover on it anyway, and that defeats the purpose of having a thinner phone. But it's faster, you might say. Yeah, it'll maybe be about 10 to 20% faster than your last phone or your current phone, but the average Joe is not going to know the fucking difference. Better camera? This doesn't really matter unless you're a photographer. And if you are a photographer, you'd be using a real camera and not a fucking phone. And what megapixel camera you have now is already more than you'll ever fucking need or notice. So is it worth upgrading then? Well, no, not really. Not for about 3 to 4 years anyway. But that doesn't really matter, because you'll need to get a new one sooner than you think anyway. Because...
cellular, modular, interactive, modular.
They are fucking fragile as fuck. You so much as sneeze the wrong way around these fuckers, the screen will shatter. Most phones these days are about 50% screen. So if you drop that, that's about a 50-50 chance you'll be forking out a few £100 for repairing your phone. I remember my brother, just for fun, used to throw his old phone as hard as he could against the wall. And all that ever happened was the battery cover and the battery would fly off it. But you'd put them back on and the phone was perfect. Flash forward to maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was kneeling down in my garden when my phone slid out of my hoodie pocket, fell all of about a foot before hitting the ground, and the screen was in shit. I still have that phone, look. Without me telling you that story, you'd think I threw it out of a fucking plane.
I'll call for pizza. I'll call my cat.
Maybe you forgot to lock the screen before putting the phone into your pocket, or an app's notifications caused the screen to unlock while it was in there. But by the time you realise this, your phone has taken it upon itself to break up with your girlfriend, call your mother a whore, and spend your entire bank balance on 52 pairs of the same designer shoelaces from Wish.com. How come when it's in my pocket unlocked, the screen goes fucking apeshit, but if I so much as try wear a pair of gloves when I'm using it, it ignores me like a weathered prostitute ignores the itch.
Operator, get me Beijing, jing, jing, jing.
Another thing I find is... Another thing that I find that Texophrenia. That's the thing when you think you've heard or felt your phone go off, but it hasn't. And now it feels like a sign you're slowly descending into madness. I don't know if it's just because I rubbed off of something in my pocket, or that 2 spoonfuls of cocaine I had in my coffee this morning have started to kick in, but something's wrong. But it's not always me. Sometimes my phone actually does vibrate or make a notification sound, but there's nothing to show. I look at my phone, nothing's there. I'm really not going mad. Tell them, Chew. You know, before smartphones and the internet were completely woven into our lives, you only had one thing to play with in bed, and you'd only play with that for a few minutes before you'd end up falling asleep. These days I find myself staring at the cutting thing for hours after I was meant to fall asleep, watching and looking at shit I really don't care about. It's like some weird subconscious desire to ensure I'm wrecked tired the next day, and if I manage to muster up the willpower to put it down, and by that I mean if the battery's almost dead and I can't use it, and I go to sleep at a reasonable time, no doubt the cunt of a thing will bing, ring and vibrate its way all through the night because the phone phone really needs to interrupt my sleep to tell me that Facebook and Viber have updated. Thanks, phone. I don't know how I could have continued living, never knowing when Viber and Facebook updated on my phone. Thank you, phone, for waking me up at 4:45 a.m, giving me this vital information. You truly are a smart phone, knowing that I value this information over my own mental stability. You fucking